Hello, familia. Oh my gosh, my battery about to die. Hold on. Okay, fam. Hi again. We're gonna talk about bronzers. Bronzers are a very specific type of product because I find a lot of them are not made well. And you end up looking like a Oompa Loompa. You end up looking too orange. It ends up looking splotchy, muddy, not great. But today we're talking about the good ones, the good ones. We're gonna talk maybe one or two contours, but for the most part, we're gonna do bronzers. What is the difference? Contour usually has a cooler undertone that looks a little gray. It'll be like a little gray brown or very gray, depending on the undertone. That typically creates structure, creates lines and shadows that make, for example, your cheekbones appear like they're up higher than you naturally would have with no makeup on. I use contours and bronzers. It really depends. For the most part, I'm a bronzer girl, and what bronzers do is create more of warmth to your skin, give you a little more color to the skin. While contour creates dimension, bronzer creates warmth. Right now what I have is bronzer, and typically bronzer goes in the perimeter of your face. It creates a little bit of warmth and shadow and dimension versus contour does more of the structuring. Do you have to use contour or bronzer? No. You could skip contour altogether and only stick to bronzer. You can skip bronzer and use contour. Whatever your preferred method is, you could do whatever. I use both sometimes. Sometimes I'll contour more than bronze. And it's just one of those things. I do find that you see more common is a bronzer than a contour. I feel like brands are bringing contours more to the forefront. But from my experience, when you see a bronzer release, it's more bronzer. It's a bronzer than a contour. For example, let's talk liquid products first. Rare Beauty released their new liquid, I don't know the exact name, liquid contours. These are contours, but for my skin tone, this shade right here, Solace, is more of a contour. You see how it's a little gray? It's a little bit of gray and cooler versus this bronzer shade, which is Serene. It has a little more warmth. You see how it's a little golden versus the gray? That's kind of how you see the difference. I do find that Rare Beauty made these very, very, very well because you can see the actual color and the difference in the undertone. This is lighter and grayer. This is a little deeper with a little bit of golden in it, and that's done purposely. So I typically would use this as a bronzer, just kind of go all over, and then this contour I really concentrated right here underneath my cheekbone, so it creates that shadow. I love these. These not only are pigmented, but the formula is very lightweight. It's liquid, so you're gonna get more of a lightweight flush of color, and it's gonna look extremely natural. If you don't like a lot of makeup, I always recommend a liquid bronzer and a liquid blush, because you can control the product a lot better than something creamy. Another liquid one that I really like is the Say. This one is it's like a gel cream liquid all in one. It kind of looks like this. This is the shade Spritz. I really love this for a natural look. If you want something natural, Say is gonna be your girl. Say is a type of makeup brand that is very natural, your skin, but better, but it does have pigment. It doesn't lack pigment. It just gives you pigment with a natural flush of color. This is it. I really like this creamy texture. I think it blends well, it lays well, it adheres to your skin well. You know how I feel about makeup adhering. It has to adhere in order for it to look good, you know? This one I will say is way better than this one. I kind of don't like this one. I just brought it up so I can compare it to both, because coincidentally, both of these kind of released within a week or two from one another, or maybe a month. Not too long. And I love this one more than this one. Oh, by the way, I'm focusing on new products, not old products. I do have two honorable mentions because I have to talk about them and you'll know why. So another liquid bronzer that also released was the Huda Beauty. These are more blonzers. A blonzer is a blush and bronzer. I feel like it had its little vibe earlier this year, and then now nobody is talking about it. But I kind of like the idea of it having a very red undertone where you get a blush and a bronzer all in one. Did I use it by itself? Maybe once or twice, but I really like this formula, and I like the idea, and I love something that's a red undertone. Red undertone bronzers to me fit very well and work extremely well for brown skin with neutral undertone. I would even say with like warm and cool undertone, because it just complements the brown skin tone a lot better than something very warm. Do you know what I mean? So this bronzer I really like. I think it worked out very well. This color right here, I don't see this type of color often because it is like the 2-in-1 bronzer thing, but I just love this red color. Ooh, this is the tone Coco Loco. Moving on from the liquids, let's talk about creams. Bronzers tend to blend out very well, very in a seamless way, more than a liquid. A liquid will blend out very well. You just have to give it a little bit of time to dry down, because a liquid can easily disrupt things. For example, like water. Water, if it hits your face, it could disrupt everything. Same thing with the liquid formula makeup. You want to give it some time to dry down, because then it's too wet, you know? Cream bronzer, I find that is the most common type of bronzer you're gonna find readily sort of available. I've been talking about Morphe, I feel like all year long, not really all year, but like the last 2 months. They really came through. They really revamped the entire brand, and I'm here for it. They released bronzing sticks. Have you seen that before? This is new to me. I only know of eyeshadow sticks that can be like a little bronzer action depending on the color, but this is, I believe, first of its kind. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. Am I missing a brand? I can't think of a brand that has straight up sticks. Sticks are perfect if you have a small face and if you want something more natural, something not too intense. But they also released bronzing sticks. These are technically contour sticks, but you know me, I love a contour bronzer dual action moment. But they also released actual bronzing sticks. This is your traditional stick that is thicker, it's shorter. I believe it comes in 5 shades. These are the 2 shades I use. I like them both. Sudden Heat and Ignite and Spark. I actually like both. You see how Spark's a little warm? This one has more of a neutral undertone. I would go with this one, which is Ignite. Either one works. Very creamy, very buildable. It reminds me of the Rare Beauty stick bronzers. I love those. Rare Beauties are bomb. They're not in this collection because they're not new. I'm focusing more on like the brand spanking new products, so Morphe, and these are very cheap. They're like $9 or $10. Anything under $10 at the drugstore at this point, we good. And these, I would actually go for these over this. This is what I use today. These are very thin, very pigmented, like extremely creamy. I want to kind of add it on top of my already set face to see, just to show you. I'm kind of scared. This is the lightest. This shade is too light. This is the shade I use, Sculpted. I filmed this video too, by the way. This makeup look is up already. Thing about a cream product, it also can blend over an already set face, versus a liquid can again disrupt the makeup. What I do love about a liquid product is that it's thin in texture. These are extremely creamy, very buildable. They come in several different shades. You can add a little and see like your face bronzed. You can add a lot and it won't look like a muddy mess. Wow, wow, wow. Contour bronzing sticks. Oh my gosh. The shade I use is Sculpted. I can use Refined for more of a contour look, which is, this is the shade, this lighter shade. It's actually could be a little too light. And then this is a deeper shade, which is Sharpened. You see that creaminess? I love these. These are great. And you know what? Let's see how much product. Oh, what? Not too shabby. Okay. Let's close this up, girl. Yeah, Morphe is available at Ulta, by the way. Another brand that I'm fairly new to is Dibs. I've tried a few products out and I really like them, especially this dual stick. It's a blush and bronzing dual stick, very pigmented, very creamy. It goes on extremely easy on your face. Anything that's a dual, I think is very, very helpful, especially if you travel a lot. Or if you don't like to buy a lot of makeup, makeup is very expensive. I think a dual product is always the best money saver and time saver and space saver because you get a 2-in-1 product. I love the tones. They have several different shades and that's really, really important. This one is a little bit on the warm side. Hold on. You see, that warmth will make me look like a Oompa Loompa if I'm not careful. I just love the formula. This is the only one I have. I should probably look into getting another shade. And they do have multiple shades, so that's also what I really like. And that's what I account for a good product being good is the shade ranges, the undertones. Undertones matter because we can't just have super warm bronzers because super extremely warm bronzers don't go with everyone's skin tone. Okay, we all have different shades, different tones, different undertones. And sometimes we like to look more bronze and sometimes we don't. That's just what it is. Makeup Forever has, these are like a multi-stick product. They have several different shades. I love this one as a contour. Endless Cocoa. You see that gray undertone? This is the most perfect contour. It's gray, but it has a tiny bit of red. You see that? That makes the color, oof. This one is more their bronzer, Anywhere Caffeine. You see that? It still has like a red undertone, which I love. Again, I think that really works very well for our skin tone. These are multi-use, so you can use it on your lid, on your face, on your lips, on your eyes. I really like that because, again, a multi-use product is easy to use. You could throw it in your bag. You don't need multiple products to look good and feel good. And Makeup Forever, though, their makeup is always so freaking good. I really love them as a whole and as a brand. I would say, like, this is kind of a dupe for this. They look extremely different. They're shaped differently, but the creaminess is very, very similar to like both of these. Maybe this is a dupe. I think so. Covergirl has the Skin Enhancing Contour Balm. They have like 5 shades and I find that their undertones are beautiful. This is the shade Sculpted too, I think. No, Snatched. This is more of their bronzer tone. You see how it's not orange? You see how it's not Oompa Loompa color? You see how there's that little bit of red? I would say like golden red undertone. That's what we like. That's what works extremely well. And they have their Sculpted shade, which is their contour shade. You see that gray? You can't tell me this is not perfect. Perfection in a color that it is the Drugstore. I've used these a few times. Oh my god, I have an itch. I love them. I think they work well. They're very, very blendable. The shades are beautiful. It doesn't patch up. Covergirl really did something with these skin enhancers because they have these as a blush also and as a cream highlight. So these sticks, bomb. The only sort of cream one that I really, really like and enjoy, I feel like there's always seasons. Right now, the season of cream sticks are very, very popular. It used to be where like we would have a cream palette or a cream pot. This kind of looks, remember maybe like 2-3 years ago, it used to be where we have like the cream either in a pot or like this palette. Talking about creamy, these are one of the most creamiest, beautiful bronzers that I've used. I haven't used this a lot. The times I have, they just glide so well. And look, this is the shade Soft Bronze. These are the Domnique Cosmetics bronzers. Hold on. Oh yeah, I cleaned my hand. Look at that. You see how it has that golden undertone? This one is a little bit on the warmer side because it is called Soft Bronze. This is medium tan. Super, super creamy. It has like a gel-like finish. This one, you see how it's neutral? A little more on the neutral side. But if I turn my hand, this one has a bit of a pink golden undertone again, and then this one is a very neutral. We don't have like a red undertone. A neutral undertone works perfectly, and this neutral undertone is beyond perfection. Look at that. And you see that creaminess? You can even see it on my hand. Very pigmented. You see one swipe, you get that pigment on, and I love these. Domnique Cosmetics and founder Christine Domnique did a wonderful job with these. Very creamy. It reminds me I need to continue using this, especially the shade medium tan. Ooh, so pretty. When it comes to bronzers, I find that so many, especially at the drugstore, are very warm. Speaking of the drugstore, the only one I like and I could vouch for and I could talk to, and this is actually part of the honorable mention, is these NYX Butter Melt Bronzers. My favorite shade is, not this one, Butter Biscuit. You could tell. Let's look at this. Look at this. You see neutral. Bam, bam. This shade right here is Butta Off. You see it has a bit of a red in it. Oh, these are $10 each. Extremely pigmented, versatile. They added 2 additional shades. They have perfect undertones. If you like more of a red undertone, they have it. If you like more of a golden warm, they have it. If you want more of a neutral, they have it. You already know I've used these so much where I've literally just stopped because I wanted to use other products to showcase in other videos. This is amazing, and it's drugstore. I do have to say that this is the only drugstore bronzer that I like and I can vouch for. If you guys know of any drugstore bronzers, powder bronzers especially, let us know because I'm out here at the drugstore really trying to look. And the thing about drugstore bronzers is not only do they run very warm, there's only 3 shades available and they all tend to be extremely warm. So it's not like we even have a variety of any sort of shade because they basically all look the same and they're just deeper in one tone. I'm like, we need more inclusivity and we need more variety when it comes to bronzers at the drugstore. I will say the drugstore is getting better with the cream bronzers, which e.l.f. has a good one. I saw Juvia's Place just released bronzers. I haven't tried those yet. We now have Morphe. We have Milani has great cream bronzers, but when it comes to powder, we're lacking. Again, please let us know if you know of a good drugstore powder foundation that you can find at your local store. Not that's available on Amazon. I feel like if we can walk into your local drugstore, that's kind of helpful, you know? Sometimes we're out and about and we want the bronzer now. We don't want to wait for it to be shipped. At least that's how I feel. Next up is the new high-end bronzers that I think work out very well. First one up, Laura Mercier has this dual bronzer, which is a, let me use this one, which is a bronzer, a matte bronzer, and then you have a little shimmer action. It gives you such a perfect summer glow, but it's also very pigmented. When I looked at this, I'm like, it looks a little lackluster. I'm like, is it giving us something? But when I tried it, and I tried it again and again and again and again, girl, this is so great. I'm in the shade 30 Can. Wow. Very amazing. Even if you use like just the matte side, you'll get a lot of pigment out of it. Oof, I'm telling you, bomb. YSL bronzer is one of these bronzers that I didn't want to like as much, but I do. I'm in the shade number 4, Sandalwood. And it, hold on, let me clean my hand. Looks like this. It's a little bit on the warm side, but again, I feel like it's more, hold on, you can't see it. Let me get a good swatch, like right here. It's a little more golden warm. Golden works when it's warm orange. That's when it doesn't work. This is a very expensive one. I really feel like we have better ones at the drugstore, but I do like this one, so that's why I wanted to add it onto our bronzer roundup, especially new bronzers roundup. Very pigmented, very lovely. You get a nice package. YSL does makeup well. I really like their makeup. I think they do it very well. It should be done well when this compact costs a lot of money. It's expected to be a good product, right? So that's why it's here. Mario re-released his bronzers. I really liked the bronzers. They're now talc free. I do find that the finish and the pigmentation is all the same. It looks the same, it acts the same. It's just talc free. I like Makeup by Mario as a brand. They do makeup very well, and bronzers nonetheless great. This one is the shade medium, and this is the shade where, hold on, let's clean this hand. This is a true neutral bronzer. You see that? Versus the shade medium dark. I feel like medium dark goes with me right now. They're not extremely pigmented, but they're extremely soft and subtle. You're gonna get that subtle bronze. You're not gonna get that super pigmented bronze that NYX is gonna offer you. Very similar to this one. I just find like this Laura Mercier bronzer. Ooh, let's swatch it. I forgot to swatch it. It's a true neutral undertone, which you can just see it right here. And it's like a little ashy, but not too ashy where it looks gray. These Mario bronzers will give you a very natural flush of color. It's not going to be super whoa. They're buildable, so you could definitely build on. It'll give you like a very natural touch. Let's kind of touch here. Oh my god, I'm going to be so bronzed up. And I always like to just go around here and here. I always like to keep the bronzer for it not to go below my ear. Top of my ear is my guide where my bronzer should go. If it is below, that's when I clean it up with a little bit of powder. Next up, a brand spanking new one is these from ABH. Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the shade Beach Bum. Okay, I have two things with this. I love the formula. The formula is very creamy. It has a very soft, matte, powdery feel. Fabulous, very pigmented. That's actually the bronzer I had on before I added these two bronzers. Let me not add bronzer because now it's looking like I have a patch here. Not me messing up my makeup. This one, very nice, very pigmented, not too pigmented. However, their color ranges and the photos in their color ranges is a little off. Like they all look very gray and ashy. When I looked at them, I wasn't sure what I was looking at, and this is the shade Beach Bum. You see how it has a nice, perfect neutral undertone with a little bit of red in it? As you can tell, the theme of this video is having a hint of red in the bronzer for it to look so good and natural on your skin, especially if you have a brown skin. I have a neutral undertone. Sometimes I look a little more red. If I'm tan, I get more of a cool undertone. My regular tone, my non-tan, I feel like it's very neutral and olive. Like a hint of olive. I feel like your undertone can change a little bit depending on the season, depending on the temperature, depending on a bunch of things. This one I really like that it does complement my skin tone. The only thing is there's only about 5 or 6 tones. If we can get a shade range extension, it would be great. I think this is one of the best powder bronzers out there because the formula is amazing, but they do not have a lot of deep tone. So let's keep that in mind for anyone who has a deeper tone than I do. And the last one that is my most loved bronzer, I will rebuy this. I think it works out so well, and this is by far one of the best bronzers, and it beats out all of these. MAC released this, I think 2 years ago now. It's been a little minute. I have the shade Matte Deep Rosy. This was one of the first, besides my Nabla bronzer. You know how much I love that one. This was the second then, bronzer that had that red undertone that I saw, and I was like, wow, this bronzer is what a bronzer should look like. MAC released a bunch of these. I think they have like 8 shades. When I purchased this, look at this. Look how pretty it is. It's like golden. It has a little bit of red. It's pigmented. It's beautiful. It's luscious. It's my favorite. I had to stop using this one also because I've used the heck out of it, and I was noticing that bronzers were really releasing this year, like a lot. Truly one of my favorite bronzers. It's a tried and true. MAC, we've talked about MAC here. MAC does makeup well, does undertones well, does shade ranges well, and they will always kind of beat out people and brands that are average. Because MAC, I feel like, has always been the type of brand that has been very inclusive. I feel like they're also revamping themselves a little bit. It took them a little bit of time to kind of get with the program with flowy makeup, influencing marketing, but once they kind of got it, they really got it and they ran with it. Still keeping their old school MAC of artistry and beautiful makeup and pigmentation, colors. This bronzer, it still beats out all except for my NYX. You know, I love me my NYX. These are just tried and true favorite bronzers that I trust, love. Wow, oh my gosh, I think this is it. These are the bronzers I love. I think that work very, very well, both cream and powder. Creams, I find that we have a lot more options than powders in my opinion. Powders, I don't know what the deal is with powders, if they're hard to come by, if they're hard to make. Even the high end, I only have like 4, 5. MAC, which MAC it's like has its own sort of stand. I just need to know what's going on with the powder bronzer game because it's very lackluster and it's been like that for a really long time. And I noticed that because I would always find myself, especially like 4 or 5 years ago, using the same bronzer time and time again because I don't want to look like a Oompa Loompa. My skin tone pulls a lot of warmth when I use a bronzer and when I use a very warm tone foundation. Put a little bit on and my skin just grabs onto that yellow and that orange color. That goes the same. The same thing happens with bronzers and that's what I was trying to avoid. I wanted to make this video in case you are looking for bronzers and you're thinking like, why am I looking like a Oompa Loompa? It's probably because they're too warm. And a lot of brands tend to do freaking warm bronzers, and I get it, bronzers are to give your skin warmth. They don't all need to be orange, okay? Point blank period. But this is it, fam. Let me know your thoughts. Do you like these roundups? I already did blushes and powders already for the year just to keep with the 2025 momentum of new makeup. I wanted to do bronzers because bronzers is another product that I feel like we need, just like lip products. Oh, and I did lips too. So yeah, this is it, fam. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know, have you tried any of these? If so, is one of these your favorite or do you hate it? Let me know if you don't see any bronzers here that I talk about that are new. Let me know, give us some tips because we want to know what other bronzers are out there that work out for you too. And yeah, this is it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and spending a little bit of your day with me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe right here so you don't miss out on any videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!